thanks to all the media and the WAFL clubs for attending here today. We're really looking forward to an exciting WAFL season. Special thanks to our major partners McDonald's, supporting partners AHG, Kennards, Rewa.com and TAB Touch. Thanks also to Channel 7, our print, radio and online media partners. Your support's always greatly appreciated. The 2017 season will feature the 23 rounds, and the great thing for the WAFL competition is almost 80% of those games have been scheduled in our traditional Saturday afternoon time slot. Feature rounds will be the Fathering Project, Anzac Day game, Men's Health, Count Me In and NAIDOC. And a big feature in the fixture this year is the state game against the VFL in Melbourne on the 27th of May. We'll be aiming to beat Victoria for the first time ever as a competition. The WAFL clubs do a terrific job with their activities for fans and families at their games, and I'd encourage anyone who has never been to a WAFL game before to head down this season or contact their local club about membership. So round one, we've got East Fremantle versus Claremont, Swan District versus Perth, South Fremantle versus Subi, East Perth versus Peel Thunder, broadcast game at night on Saturday night, and West Perth start the season with a bye. We're going to break this up into, we'll do three segments. So our first panel, if I could just have Claremont's brand new coach Darren Harris, East Fremantle Rob Wiley and East Perth Luke Webster to come up. So Darren, welcome back to WAFL Footy. Had a great run as the state coach over the last couple of seasons. How does it feel to be back?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I reckon any of the coaches here would talk about the fact that when it's in your blood, it's in your blood. So being out of it for a while and getting back into it's been really enjoyable. So for me, it's just that chance to belong somewhere again, where you're with a group of young blokes and trying to help them be better. So I'm enjoying it.
Great, and the comp's great to have you back in it. Robbie, you said the Sharks take the next step to improve on their consistency.
Can you just talk right into that microphone? Yeah.
What are the Sharks driving for this year, Robbie?
Well, we're 12 months down the track, Nappy. Second pre-season, the way that we believe can be successful, and it's been very encouraging with the commitment and the effort that the boys have put in. We've had 3 really good practice games, particularly culminating last week against East Perth. So, we expect improvement, but we also understand that there's other 8 WAFL clubs that will be improved. And from last year, what I saw, the standard was very, very good. So, we need to improve. And as I said, all those signs, lots of new faces at the club, and the boys have taken to the style of footy that we think that can win us games of footy. So we're well prepared.
Great. And Luke, welcome to you, mate. Great to have you coaching for the first time. How's it been, and stepping up to the challenge as a senior coach?
Yeah, look, it's been really great to be back in Perth. Obviously a bit of a stint over East. Really excited about taking on the new role at East Perth, back at my home club. Looking forward to the season. It's been really good so far. Like everyone, we've had a really good pre-season. Had a couple of really good hit-outs against South and East Fremantle. So looking forward to round one this week.
Over to you guys.
Robbie, theoretically everyone starts with a clean sheet, but Sportsbet got your boys at $21 shots. Is that a fair call?
Well, that's what they've put it as. We don't really sort of take any notice of that, to be honest. At the end of the day, we can only control what we can control. And as I said, we're very pleased with the way we've gone about our pre-season. We're very pleased with the recruits that we've got in. Certainly looking at last year, we needed to make a few changes. And, those guys have come in and really added something different to the way that we can play this year.
Rob, John Marsh, obviously an addition for you. Where's he
Well, the good thing with John O'Marsh is that he can play in all areas. In the last couple of years he's been as a backman. He started off through his juniors as a midfielder, and we played him a bit of both in that area. And I also believe he can go up forward. He's such a good size, but more importantly, he's shown so much passion to want to be at East Fremantle, and he's had that ability to be able to take some of his mates that obviously played with the Colts, guys like Connor Regan and Miles Franklin, to name a couple, and they've been very good at the moment. So not only can he add value to his own football ability, but also his leadership and his ability to bring others along with him. Well, Darren's right next to me. No, he won't play this week. He's probably still another few weeks away, but, an important player, obviously. Sustained pretty bad hamstring, but he's coming on in leaps and bounds. So he'll certainly add to what I believe, we've got a very, very good midfield, and also some of those guys can go forward. So it gives us a little bit of flexibility.
So is it just Brock and George you won't have?
Won't have Brock or George, so there's lots of rumours about Brock not playing this year, but we expect him to play. He just needed to get his injury that was quite serious last year right, and I think he's just about on top of that, so hopefully soon we'll have both those players.
Do you have a timeline?
No, not really.
Luke, the Eagles' ruck strength, even before the start of the AFL season, has been tested. How is that going to impact on your selections in the early going?
Yeah, look, it's going to be a difficult one, given that we've got a fair few options to pick with. We've got guys at East Perth, Scott Jones, who hopefully is going to get some opportunity this year. And it'll just all depend on what we get back from the AFL listed guys throughout the year. But I think it's going to be a challenge for us for selection, but it's a good one to have, that we've got some big blokes to be able to pick from.
Do you have an idea as to the number of Eagles you get selected?
I don't at this stage. We had, I think, something like 22 available last week, but then towards the end of the week had 3 or 4 get held over anyway, so I'm not sure, but I think the both lists are very fit at the moment, so there could be a good contingency.
And so really guys, credentialed guys like Jack Red, guys like that?
Yeah, look, they played with us last week. There'll be a decision made, obviously, in terms of what their prep's going to be like for round 1 AFL. If that's to play with us this week, I'll certainly be more than happy to have them. But that decision will be made later in the week.
You lost some really key leaders from the group last year. Who sort of stepped up?
Yeah, look, we got a fair bit of experience that come out of our group, but getting a guy like Pat McGinnity to the club, who's been around for the alignment for the last couple of years, has really come in and driven the boys to want to succeed. So his leadership skills have been really critical for our group so far. But it's allowed other guys to really step up. It's given opportunities to Shane Hill, who played 14 or 15 games last year, that's really taken a step forward in his footy. We've got another couple of guys in Callum Hart, who played a lot of senior footy last year, coming through, that's given him an opportunity to step up and want to lead. Mitch Fraser, who won our best and fairest last year, he's got to again step up. So it's giving good opportunities for those guys. Yes, we've lost some experience, but some opportunities open up for them, and hopefully they can step up this year for us.
Since the alignment came in, we've seen the rivalry with Peel and East Perth build a bit over the last couple of seasons. They won the Premiership last year. You're pretty keen to ignite it this weekend?
I think our rivalry is going to be pretty strong against all sides. There's always been a really strong rivalry between East Perth and West Perth. We always enjoyed playing Claremont and all the other teams. So, I think for this Saturday, we'll just look about it as any other game of footy. It is round 1. We want to get off to a really good start. The last couple of years, unfortunately, we haven't started the way we wanted, so we'll be looking for a really improved effort, and hopefully we get off to the right start.
With those second retirements, do you genuinely think they hurt your prospects this year?
I don't think so. I don't deny that there's some really good experienced footballers that we've lost, but our reserves made the grand final last year. Our Colts made the grand final, so we've got some really good talent coming through from underneath that have been playing a similar game style that we want to play in the league. So I think we're in pretty good stead. Yeah, we're going to be a young group, but there's opportunities, as I said, for those guys to take a step forward and play some more league footy.
There seemed an effort under Jamie last year to, I guess, cap or try and reach a maximum in terms of West Coast to East Perth's own players in the team. Are you going to stick to that this year?
Yeah, look, I want to give opportunities to both groups. It's a challenging task, obviously, having a West Coast hat on and an East Perth hat. I'll be picking the best 22 each week to be able to play, and what that mixture looks like, I'm not sure yet. There's no, obviously, direct rule in terms of how many blokes we can play, but we try and get the best mix that helps both teams. Obviously, I want to develop West Coast players to get into the AFL team, but I've also got to then make sure I'm developing a winning culture at East Perth and giving my East Perth players an opportunity to play.
And Darren, what's the timeline now with the home ground deployment that caused any unrest?
They're a pretty resilient group down there. They actually haven't complained at all. And so I come in as a fresh set of eyes and am involved in it. When you don't have a facility that's yours, the amount of work people do, so, Darcy Coffey and Kepler Bradley and all your support staff, transporting equipment everywhere and being in parks, etc., has been interesting. So once the facility comes along, they just won't know themselves, those people that have done all that hard work. So can only imagine what Broady's been through over the last 3 years there. Wouldn't have been easy. They've been moved around, but like I said, there's been no complaints at all about that. At this stage, I think it's early May that we look like playing a game there. We'll train there for the first time tonight, and the grass is being put in, so we'll be about 3/4 of the ground tonight, but at least we'll have some lights, which will be great.
Jake Murphy's had discussions playing the last couple of seasons. You're confident you can get the best of him?
Yeah, Jake Murphy's had a fantastic pre-season. He did a lot of rehab pre-Christmas, and post-Christmas hasn't missed a beat. He got a little bit of a medial last week, so he didn't play on the weekend, but if he gets through training this week, he'll be available. Having said that, he's had injury concerns. I still think last year he played 17 games from memory, and missed a couple where he was a late withdrawal. So his durability was still okay last year. The year before wasn't great, but we think he's in great condition.
How key is his first game against the Sharks?
How key is the first game? They're all key games. If you're thinking about the first game as being most important, it is this week. But really, everyone knows that you're probably going to have to win your 13, 14 games to qualify. So everyone's important. But look, we'll attack this one like hopefully we'll attack everyone for the year.
But is it important that your new coach or someone's going to make?
Is it important? Everyone's important. As a new coach, geez, it'd be nice to sing that song. It's a good song. Haven't sung it before, so I'd look forward to doing that if we could. But really, it's more important than any other one for the year.
A lot of close losses last year, which I think a bit.
Yeah.
How much you can do over the pre-season to address that? Why that was happening?
I don't think so. I think it's a stat, so it's data there to talk about and go, okay, we lost close ones last year. Why? But really, once you start your next preparation, that is history. So no, I think that shows that there's enough talent there, and enough, not dropping away to be close in games that there's some character there. So we just got to make sure we win those, a percentage of those close ones this year to give us a chance to qualify.
Darren, a lot of people seem to expect Claremont to go up the ladder, certainly down, and a lot of them talk about that just by the fact that you're on board. Do you feel any added pressure in that respect?
No, I think every coach wants to win and expects themselves to do pretty well. And if you're not going in to win, then I don't know why you're in the game. I think every one of us wants to win. Added pressure? No, I don't think so. I get the pressure from seeing two teams win in the Colts and the reserves last year, and knowing that there's 35 players, 20 and under, that I've got to develop those players to win. So there's some pressure there to develop those players, and there's some expectation around having success with those young players. So, I don't think any of us don't have expectation to win.
Yeah, mate. Great success last year. What sort of confidence does that leave around the group heading into this season?
Well, it's a pretty new group, but the local players are really confident and looking forward to building on their seasons last year. So we're feeling pretty good.
And Earl, some improvements over the couple of years you've been there, mate. What's 2017 looking like?
Look, we've lost a few players who are around about, probably in our best 22 for this week. Well, would have been, you'd think. So that's just going to force us to play some pretty exciting kids, which we played Billy's mob the other week and he had a few out, but, we were pretty exciting. We had 8 kids who hadn't played a game before, so it'd be hard to push any of those guys out. So we're probably going to have unprecedented numbers as first games this week, but from that point of view, you're a little bit nervous because you're not too sure what you're going to get, but in time they're going to be really exciting. I think, having been around quite a while, if you get 4 or 5 kids out of a good Colts group, you've done well. I think we can almost double that with the kids we've got at the moment. So it's just a matter of keeping them on track and giving them opportunity. And some of the guys we got in and got games into last year can continue to improve, and I'm sure we'll take another step forward. How that looks in terms of win-loss, I'm not too sure. But I always judge success against expectation, and the expectation's growing slowly.
Thanks, mate. And TC, finals last year, you've kept a good core group of the team together. You're confident about 17, improving in 2017?
Yeah, look, obviously we've kept the bulk of the group. We've had about 10 or 12 pretty talented kids come up from the Colts. Obviously a couple of those have already played a couple of senior scratch matches, and they'll be in the mix to play this week as well. So, look, we want to improve, but we also understand that last year really doesn't mean anything. So, we're pretty comfortable, I guess, with where we're at. We've got most guys available or not far away. So, you survive summer, and now we're ready to play, which is, what all the coaches and supporters and players want.
Hand over.
I think we had 11 last week. I think we'll be 12 or 13 or something like that.
That's around the number you like. Around the range.
I like that. Look, we're comfortable to put our best side on the park, and we want everyone to get an opportunity. So be it 12, 13, 15, 8, it is what it is, providing the attitude's good. Yeah, he's played 2 scratch matches and joined in from training after Christmas. He's building his fitness and his confidence, and we're looking forward to him having a big year. But our expectation is not something that drives us. We just want him to have some fun and after having the year he's had, probably similar to Corey, just to come back and enjoy his footy.
About the rivalry with East, that's
Well, I reckon it is. There's always a bit going on in the game, and but at the end of the day, after whoever's won, you shake hands. So no, we're looking forward to the game on the weekend.
Cam, any of the younger players that you can talk about? Brent McGowan kicked 5.
Yeah, so he played 8 games last year, and he's played forward for us this year in the 2 scratchies and had an impact. So he's come along. Calvin Thorne continues to come along. He's as a player. We've got quite a few in that boat, and it's a matter of building their fitness base and building and then giving them opportunity at the right time.
Are you excited at the prospect of developing someone like a Sean Darcy in the ruck this year, who looks like a player in the
Yeah, you'd think so. So we haven't had him down at Peel yet. But he shows that he's a bit of a competitor. So I would think he'll get an opportunity this weekend to have a full game, and we'll look forward to watching that.
Todd, how do you reflect on the finals loss that knocked you out last year? Was it just a perfect storm? Do you think you had a good enough side to contend otherwise?
Oh, look, we're comfortable that when we're at our best, our footy's good enough. But clearly, in the second semi and prelim, we weren't good enough for long enough in either of those games. So if you don't play your best in finals, you don't win. So do we think we've got the talent? Maybe, but you've got to be at your best and you've got to work hard. So we weren't good enough last year. So the players have come back, been really driven and trained hard, came back in good nick. So time will tell. Starts this week, so it'll be good to get into it.
You seem to be the most stable in terms of retaining the majority of your squad from last year. Is that counting your favour?
Maybe. Look, we've been really strong, and since I've been back down at South Fremantle, that we really want to create that environment where players want to be and feel like that they're going to be developed and enjoy their footy. So Harrow spent a little bit of time with us last year, and we like to think that hopefully the time he spent in our environment maybe helped him realise what he was missing. He's getting back into it too. So look, we're as well prepared as we can be, but you got to turn up on the day and perform. So we're looking forward to this week.
I know a lot of people view you as Premiership favourites. That'd be a surprise to you.
Well, it's a surprise because I don't really listen to what anyone else thinks. But look, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Our first focus is this week, and obviously really desperate to qualify to play finals again, and then we'll progress from once that hopefully happens. But it's a long year and a lot of things can happen that can change it pretty quick.
Pretty good test, but that was
Yeah, it's a good challenge for us. Yeah, clearly the best team of the last decade. So, our players are really keen, and I'm sure Jared and his boys are pretty keen to play footy as well. Summers pre-season can be a sort of a long grinding time, especially when it's as warm as it is in Perth, and we're all in it for games and to play, and we're all competitors and we want to win. So, the season's a couple of days away. So I'm sure everyone in the comp, everyone involved, supporters, are excited. Yeah.
It's a big unknown for us. Even as coaching group, we're excited about Saturday because we saw glimpses of the future 2 weeks ago, as I said, but we're just not too sure with so much youth on our side. They can be up and down a bit. We're going to be really reliant on our better players playing well, which when we played Cam's mob a couple of weeks ago, they didn't, and we got flogged. So we need them to play well, and then the kids just to weigh in. And like I said, we're hoping that they're going to keep improving and rapidly. We're training pretty well. They're pretty fit, a lot fitter than the group overall than when I arrived a couple of years ago, and that's been a big focus for us. So they run games out, and they have a crack, which I think they've shown over the last couple of years. They're not scared of putting their head over the ball. I can't honestly answer your question. We're pretty hopeful and pretty confident, but we'll know a bit more 5 o'clock on Saturday. Billy doesn't rate ruckman anyway, so we haven't lost anything apparently. Gus was pretty good for us last year, and it was disappointing, especially this time of year, to lose him because it makes it hard to find a replacement. I've had a lot of faith in Christian Ayres' ability. He just hasn't had his body on the park long enough to play and fulfil his potential. So he's pretty fit at the moment. Hopefully he can stay that way. Otherwise we'll be pinch hitting with a few blokes. But yeah, our midfield's been our strength, and we've got a few younger blokes to put through there, and obviously Brant College coming back to the club's a big boost for us. I'm a big rap on his ability. He loves the club. He's been pretty comfortable back there since he got there. He's just about over his shoulder, so looking forward to get him in there as well.
Would this be one of your most inexperienced teams that you've had going into the season?
Look, I think so, but the whole comp's probably lost a real core of mid-tier players for whatever reason this year. So our reserves is really young, but I think the reserves is going to be a pretty young comp this year, which is it's not a bad thing, I don't think. But yeah, it's an exciting group, but it is very young and pretty raw. Hopefully resilient, because there's going to be some ups and downs, but I think the ups are going to be pretty exciting.
And how did you feel? You lost a couple of players, but you had 10 died, and he went, and Angus goes. Former captain left, Ben Smith. You just start thinking, like, geez, what's going on here?
Yeah, we're trying to work out who ran over the Chinaman. Yeah. That's just it's all history now, isn't it? Like you'd like to have Tendai running out on Saturday, but he's not there. I know Stifford like to have Clancy running out too, and unfortunately he's gone down with a knee, and we've had a few injuries. That's you can only play with the cards you're dealt. Hopefully got a couple of aces up the sleeve, but we'll have to wait and see.
Cam, does defending the flag bring its own special pressure?
No, Bob. It brings no pressure at all because Peel had been in the doldrums for, I think they'd finished last for 9 out of 20 years. So to bring some joy to the area was great. Someone said to me the other day, "What's it going to be like being hunted?" It'll be pretty good because we've always had to come from so far back. So we're looking forward to the challenge of hopefully being one of the better sides this year.
What about losing a few key players like to overseas teams? Do you think that you're adequately with the team you've got this year? Do you reckon you'll be up there?
Yeah, look, time will tell on that. I mean, they were really good players in our Premiership side, so we rated them really highly, but we evolve and we look forward rather than looking back, and I really reckon that the bond that the groups have pulled together is the critical part for us, and that's really strong. So, time will tell with that. Losing good players doesn't help any club, but we think we've replaced them with some equally fine talent going forward.
Todd, is Jared Garland up and going? Will he be available for play this week?
Yeah, look, he's missed a little bit of training before Christmas, but he's certainly put in enough work. Played 2 weeks ago against East Perth, but he'll be in the mix. Yeah, he's been training well. He's pretty comfortable, obviously being back at home, which is what he wanted. So he'll certainly help us. But our focus probably with him is, I think his second half of the year is obviously hopefully going to be stronger than his first half, because he's just come back into a group where he hasn't been for a couple of years, but certainly more comfortable, more settled at home. And he's a special talent.
Jared, it was touched on earlier. Sue, you've had great success over a number of years. What's the approach heading into 17?
Well, obviously to hopefully continue on with that success. It will be a challenge for us. As El alluded to before, there's been a real transition of obviously those core type players leave the competition, and we'll be a young squad. We lost some experience over the pre-season, but yeah, look, we'll look to develop and bring through some young kids that have been around the mark over the last couple of years. So it's going to be an interesting year for ourselves.
And Greg, Swans have continued to develop some great young talent over the years. You add some quality recruits into that. What are the members of out at the Bombo Valley to expect this year?
It's quite bad by you. I've used my supporter base, but we're pretty excited. Look, we've always had a lot of faith in our youngsters coming through. Last year was tough. I was talking to someone the other day, when you debut 17 kids and inherently they're playing with other kids trying to make their way in the game, it's pretty hard for kids to develop at a rate. And I think with the players and the quality that we've been able to put around our youngsters, I think it's pretty exciting at this point in time.
And Bill, how's the season shaping up for West Perth? The preparations, given you've got a bye this weekend?
Yeah, look, it's a little bit different. It's the first time in my 9 years we've had the bye first up, so we've just had to think about that a little bit. But we start on a Sunday against East Perth next week, so we move our training for Sunday games a day back, and we have our main training session on Wednesday and then a follow-up on Friday. So we'll do the same this week. Look, like a lot of the clubs, we've lost a core of players probably in the middle tier, guys we thought were going to lead us going forward, and a lot of those guys have gone for work opportunities. So look, it's a little bit of an unknown. Luckily we have 4 ruckmen on board this year, and I hope to be playing them regularly. Earl?
I hand you over, guys.
Jared, why do you think some of those mid-tier players across all the clubs have left the WAFL?
Look, I think most clubs are trying to bring through the young Colts boys, trying to fast track them. Hopefully get young kids drafted if they're good enough. I think also, you got to deal with the amateurs and the country footy. It's a strong comp out there, and it gets to a point also work commitments as well. As Billy said, we've lost players, just can't commit to the time that we demand of them to be able to juggle both. And there's a lot of kids also that are, that might be that 23 age that are in their last year of uni. We're experiencing that as well. So it's a real balancing act, but there's still opportunities for other players.
How do you reflect on the grand final loss under the circumstances last year?
We've moved on. Obviously disappointing. We just weren't good enough on the day. We put a lot of time and effort into the season, and gave ourselves an opportunity to hopefully win another flag, and we weren't good enough. And it's well documented how many players they had from Frere, but we didn't use that as an excuse. We just purely weren't good enough on the day, and we want to improve again. And the pleasing thing for me at the end of the year was that we gave it our best all year, and they stayed strong. The boys, I think we had 5 to 6 guys play in their first grand final. Of those players, they were all local product, which was good. And we gave other guys opportunities to be there as well. So look, we moved on pretty quickly from it. The boys have trained hard over the pre-season, and hopefully we'll be round the mark again.
Jared, would you say this is one of the most unknown seasons you've ever been involved in across the board?
I think it will be. I think it'll be pretty even. The alignment sides will be there. They'll always be there because they're strong. I think it's fantastic that Peel, are really up there now. We look at the Claremonts, they've got a strong list, having won 2 grand finals in the Colts and reserves. And so I can go through every side. There's a real transition, and, you're going to have to be at your best to win those 13 to 14 games to be there. So we're under no illusions as a footy club that, you have to be on every game. So it's exciting for the competition. It's an exciting brand, and hopefully we'll get a lot of support into the WAFL for it. No, look, I've said it before. We had Matty Boland a couple of years ago. We had Shane Yarran, and we were able to rebuild our forward line. We feel, as Billy said, we've got a few more ruckmen to pick from this year. We haven't had a ruckman really for the last 3 years that's been on the park long enough. So we're looking to young fellas like Dave Madoot, Jordan Bestry, these type of players, Damon Guinness, to hopefully hold up the fort there, which allows us to play, your Della Hunties and your Wheeler forward more. Obviously, Liam, he's well documented, he's a talent, but it's going to be a big challenge for him to be able to back up from such a good year last year, coming into the competition for the first time. But we look at Cole Halligan being a new recruit, had 12 months out. We're looking to have him back in the next couple of weeks. So that's a real positive for us. But you've got to look to evolve in the side, and we feel like we've done that over the pre-season, so we'll have a different mix. Corey's an interesting one. Obviously hasn't played a lot of footy over the last 3 or 4 years in terms of just the actual knowledge of it. Was probably unlucky to be delisted, but wanted to come to us as an opportunity to further himself. And I look at someone like him that is still raw in the game. He's an explosive type player that can play at various positions, but feel like we want to try and settle him down in a couple of positions and give him every opportunity to really showcase his natural talent. You'll find out.
Greg, we've heard every coach admit that their overall strength has been diluted by the loss of a lot of mid-tier talent. Don't shoot the messenger here, but has the competition itself been diluted for that same reason?
No, I don't believe that's the case. I actually sort of see it a little bit like natural selection, to be honest. You have to prepare to play Peel with 17 full-time athletes in their system. Every single coach outside of the alignment clubs would say the same. And when you're talking about preparing a group to play against that, you have to train your kids like AFL players. And unlike the full-time athletes that you play against, most of our kids are getting off the tools, and they're plumbers, they're electricians, they're in roof space during the day, and then we train them 4 days a week, then we expect them to do another 3 days of weights, and it's really, really tough. Really tough for young kids, making their way in the workforce as well. So, sort of the kids that survive are really tough kids because they have to manage so many things in their life. So, we've seen some really good kids come back into our system, and I've seen Subi pick up the Adamsons, and there's some really good quality, high quality players coming out of the AFL and coming into the WAFL system. I think this will be one of the closest seasons in WAFL history. I look at every single team. You look at Claremont, what they've been able to put into the mix with the Tommy Lees and so forth, and Jesse Laurie coming back. South Fremantle are going to be really, really strong again. And I think, considering the issues that we had last year, and then you put our 4 homegrown kids in Galton, Bennell and Ellard, etc., Clancy Pearce, Xavier Ellis is going to play again. There's some good names. There's some, formerly some elite AFL talent. So I believe that the system has got stronger because the kids that survive in the system are really tough. They're well prepared. They're well conditioned, and we always see some really high quality AFL talent come back into the competition. So I'm bracing for it to be really close and to be really exciting. Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, no, he's, there's no doubt that some of the players that come into the mix, Xavier's had his issues over the course of his career. To be out of the AFL system with so much talent at 28, is only because he's had issues with his body. Crowley's 31, going into his 32nd year, and he's obviously got some miles on the clock. So he had a minor groin 2 weeks ago, so we put him away really early against East Frau, and he'll play this week. Ellard got a knock on his knee, which was insignificant. We put him away. He'll be right to go this week, and obviously just the big one for us was Clancy Pearce, who just one of those little innocuous little things at training that end up in an ACL. So yeah, we're looking forward to having him back in 2018. But right at this point in time, outside of Clancy, we'll pretty much have everyone on our list ready to go.
Now, Corey Golden, we probably haven't talked a lot about, but how's he come back with some mix here, and how much is he going to add to the
Yeah, look, we see him playing in multiple roles, not only forward but through the ruck as well, at 200 odd centimetres, and he's, from when he left us in 2011, he's just a really outstanding athlete now. So Yeah, we've probably battled for that big, strong body to release the ball to confidently. You know, we've been envious of the clubs that have it. You know, the Lowrys of the world, Shepherd last year with Subi. It just allows you to, across the middle of the ground, not to muck around with the footy. So having Corey in the mix, and we've been able to grab this young kid from the amateurs that we've got a fair opinion of as well. So, yeah, a lot. But getting back to the question at hand, you know, we're pretty excited about Corey coming back into the mix because he is a local kid. We think that's one of our biggest strengths. The boys that have come back into the mix are predominantly Swan District's people, have a passion for the joint. They've grown up in the community, and yeah, they're really committed to helping us sort of bounce back off a pretty dark and dingy year.
Neil, is this the best year in terms of quality tools that you've got on your list?
Look, we actually haven't added that much, and we've obviously added Scott Simpson, ex-AFL, ex-VFL player, played state footy over here when WA took on Victoria in Northern. What he does is he allows us to be a little bit more flexible with our tools. You know, Rodder's still only 22 or 23 years of age. Keitel's just recently turned 21. So, look, we expect those guys to keep developing, and we hope Scott will be able to fast track those guys. He comes with good knowledge. He's willing to help teach those kids. You know, Hamilton is a guy who's been in the army and travelled around a fair bit, and he came to us last year on the recommendation of Michael Pettigrew, and he didn't set the world on fire. We think he'll be better. Mike Lowry, I think, provides a good target. So look, whether it's the best group of tools we've got more options through our tools, throwing Seven and Chris in the ruck. You know, we think there is some flexibility there. How that translates into us playing on every week, I'm not sure until we get to games.
Your first month, your first 4 or 5 games when you do play, it's pretty tough. That sort of decide whether you're in it or not this year?
I guess so, but considering we were 1-4 last year and then finished third at the end of the home and away, you know, the first month's tough. And, you know, what do? We go East Perth, Subi, Peel and South, but then I pick up and then we go Claremont and everyone else after that. They're all hard games. I'm not expecting any game to be easy. So this week, you know, we get to sit back and see how it pans out. 4 fantastic games of footy. I think everyone associated with WAFL footy should be excited about the start. Unfortunately, we have to wait a week. The fixturing's good. I'll get to see half of the East Fremantle game, and then I'll pop over to South Fremantle and watch a half before I finish off down at Leederville Oval.